Good morning. This is a special edition of Political Paula to pay tribute to someone that it may surprise you I admire greatly, Senator John McCain from Arizona. My husband and I almost voted for him for president in 2008 until he picked Sarah Palin as his running mate, which I think even he will admit was a mistake that probably maybe cost him the presidency, or it just wasn't his time. But here's the thing I admire about John McCain, and it is ironic that when I heard of his death on Saturday, I am reading his book, The Restless Wave. Because what John McCain was to me was someone who put country before party. He was a lifelong Republican, but he could cross party lines when he thought it was in the best interest of the people who paid his salary, who put him in office, who allowed him to serve them for decades. He put us first, the American people, before his party. He put America before the Republican Party. John McCain was able to make friends, and you can see it with all the tributes pouring out from Democrats and Republicans alike. They might not have agreed with John McCain, but they respected him, and they called him friend. All that is but one. And sadly, that has put a pall on this moment of remembrance, this time, this week, where we are supposed to be remembering a hero, a man who, when he was captured in Vietnam, refused his early release so that others could go free before him, because that was the code of honor, the code he swore to. No one named Trump has ever been in that position. No one named Trump has ever served honorably in the military, has served our country, has put their lives in danger for our country. No one named Trump would ever refuse an early release from prison. And yet, Donald Trump is disrespecting John McCain in every way since his passing on Saturday. The White House prepared an eloquent statement to honor John McCain. Donald Trump refused to allow it to be released, instead tweeting condolences to the family. Really? No mention of John McCain's lifelong service to his country. No mention of him being a war hero, because of course Donald Trump doesn't think someone who got captured is a hero. Donald Trump makes fun of war heroes' families, of Gold Star families. He did that during the campaign because the Gold Star family supported Hillary Clinton. John McCain defends his opponent, as he did when a woman at a town hall meeting said she didn't trust Obama because he's an Arab, and John McCain said, "No, ma'am, no. He's a family man. He's a good citizen of America. We just disagree on some issues. But he is not an Arab. He is a good American citizen who loves his country as much as I do." John McCain lost his presidential bid twice. Once to George W. Bush and once to Barack Obama. And both men have been invited. And this is what's so awesome about knowing when your time has come to an end, as John McCain was given that gift. He knew a year ago his time was short, and he made plans. His personal wish was that George W. Bush, who defeated him in the 2000 election in the primaries, and that Barack Obama would eulogize him, a Democrat and a Republican. That's what John McCain was about, bringing the parties together for the good of the American people. That's why he gains my respect. In reading his book, he has changed my mind about a lot of things. I still disagree with him on certain things, His foreign policy and mine do not mesh. But on immigration, I've kind of changed my mind, and I'm probably going to do a show about that in November when we start our third season here at Political Paula. But I couldn't let a day go by now without coming here and honoring this man, as most of the world is honoring him. Tributes are pouring in from all over the world, from our allies, from those who kept him captive in Vietnam. They are honoring him for his courage, his bravery, his call to duty, where he refused a free pass home because of who his family was, so that others could go free before him. When he stood up and accepted a bracelet from a mother who lost her son, her 22-year-old son, in Iraq, and he wore that bracelet proudly, and on the anniversary of her son's death, he took the time out of his day to call her to see how she was doing on the first year anniversary of her son's death. A very busy man taking the time to call a woman at home and say, hey, how you doing today? I know it's the anniversary of Matthew's death. That's an honorable man. That's a man worth remembering. It's worth flying the flags at half staff, even though the White House flag is now at full staff. It's worth having a proclamation from our president, our sitting president, who is still probably smarting a little bit that one of John McCain's last wishes was that President Trump not be invited to his funeral, which I think just shows me how much more I love John McCain. Wish he would have been my friend. Wish I could have shaken his hand, gotten a picture with him, and met the man. So Trump is uninvited to the funeral, so now the flag at the White House is flying at full staff. He's refusing to release a statement praising John McCain for all he has given, an entire adult life given to his country, the country he loves so dearly. So to his family, his 7 children and his wife of over 30 years, well, you have my condolences, my respect. You were so blessed to have actually known this good, kind man. A man who will defend his opponent when he is wrongfully accused of not being an American citizen. A man that will cross the aisle and shake hands with a Democrat if it means that a compromise can happen and good will be done for the people who paid his salary. That's who John McCain was. I want to read you a quote from his book because it really is the measure of the man. And the fact that one person in this country maybe is not mourning his death or honoring him or respecting him, well, maybe that's a legacy of John McCain's too, to open the eyes of those who continue to support a man who does not care about the American people. He doesn't care about you. A man who cares more about himself and those who share his name than about building alliances, continuing alliances with our friends, with Germany, with England, with France, with Canada. Those who mourn John McCain, while the person who is the commander-in-chief sits in the White House and refuses to pay his respects. Here's what John McCain wrote in his book, and it's beautiful. Because he knew he was going to die for the last 13 months. He knew this cancer was unbeatable, but this is how he saw his illness. What an ingrate I would be to curse the fate that concludes the blessed life I've led. I prefer to give thanks for those blessings and my love to the people who blessed me with theirs. The bell tolls for me. I knew it would. So I tried as best I could to stay a part of the main. I hope those who mourn my passing, and even those who don't, will celebrate as I celebrate, a happy life. Life lived in imperfect service to a country made of ideals, whose continued success is the hope of the world. And I wish all of you great adventures, good company, and lives as lucky as mine. This is a hero, my friends. These are the books you should be reading. And I know I have a lot of young viewers out there. Gavin, I know you're watching. Michaela, I mean, all my young, beautiful viewers who see a future in front of you that has been made a little bleaker because of the last 2 years and possibly till 2020. Here's what I have to say to you. Some of you will be coming of the age to vote by 2020. It will be your first election you will vote in. Please vote wisely. Please don't listen to the wolf in sheep's clothing. Or actually, as I call him, the wolf in wolf's clothing, because y'all knew what you were getting, kind of. I don't think any of you realized it was going to be as bad as it is. The disrespect, the attacks. Even today, a Trump supporter was on CNN saying that they don't believe Donald Trump refused to release a respectful praise of John McCain, even though it's a fact. They don't want to believe it. Here's the great thing about America, at least John McCain's America. And it's happened to me. When Americans make a mistake because we believe something and then we find out we've been sold a bill of goods, we can fix it. We fix it with our votes. We fix it with shows like this. We fix it by stating what we believe and standing by what we believe, like John McCain did, even when what he believed in was not popular with his party. It wasn't going to gain him any votes in the presidential election, but he stood for what he believed and never backed down. John McCain and I could have been really good friends. I would have loved to have had John McCain have my back, as I would have loved to have his. And I think now by doing this show, I have his back. Got your back, John. I'm not going to allow a childish president acting like a 5-year-old at the playground. I'm not invited to the party, so I'm going to diss the person who's having the party. John McCain's life will be celebrated on Saturday, and Donald Trump was not invited because Donald Trump didn't earn the respect of John McCain. And that should tell you all something, because I know there are millions of American citizens who voted for Donald Trump who also respected and loved John McCain. And now you get to stand up and say, we made a mistake. But we get a chance to fix it. And I pray to God that you do. And I pray to God that we have more John McCains in this world, in my lifetime, in Congress, serving our country before serving themselves, caring more about every American citizen than they do about what the Republican base thinks about them. Honoring our allies, shaking the hands of our allies instead of biting their fingers. We need more John McCains. And you're out there. You're out there. You young people who see a future that is dim. A future John McCain always saw as a bright light. A positive future. You can make that happen. Do what you need to do. If you have that passion in you that John McCain had for all the decades he served this country so valiantly, a true hero, make your life count as he made his 81 years on this earth count every single day. He didn't tweet evil things or attacks at people. He didn't berate people who disagreed with him. He tried to compromise with them. He tried to shake their hand and call them friend. And that's why on Saturday, the two men who cost John McCain the presidency, what he wanted the most, will be speaking to honor him at his funeral at his request. It says something about John McCain, and it also should send you a message about the person who now sits in your house, in the White House. It ain't his house. It's not Trump Palace, Washington. It's your house. And it's time that we realize we need to take it back. Every other person, by the way, named Trump has tweeted something nice, honoring John McCain for his service. Everyone except the Commander-in-Chief of our armed forces, who is refusing to honor an American hero, a POW who survived, and not only survived, but bravely chose to stay in captivity so that others could go home to their families first, because that was his code. He endured torture. He gave up nothing. He didn't tell the enemy any secrets of America. He's a hero. He is what we should want our children to be like. He is the role model that sadly our president no longer is. So to the McCain family, you were so blessed to know such a wonderful man. And if a woman, a Democrat, lifelong Democrat, who has a political talk show that usually leans to the left, is reading your husband, your father, your grandfather's book and learning something and admiring the man you called dad or called husband, who called you called friend, if that can happen because of this wonderful man, well, you know what? That is such a measure of such a wonderful life. Rest in peace, Senator McCain. This country will definitely miss you. Political Paula's out.